Hello, I'm Enzo, and today I'll be playing TerraTech. And in this episode of TerraTech Builds, we're actually going back to an older tech. I know, it seems a bit weird, but here we are. This is Purifier, the original. Purifier's design is based off of a Rook Siren battleship from Azure Lane, and mostly because the humanoid Purifier has no real ship. We've never really seen it. But anyways, this is the design I came up with originally, based off of the reference image. Purifier was mostly just built to show off a new type of armor I had designed, and just because this is an awesome looking ship, to be fair. Especially with her overwhelming firepower, and of course battery capacity, which allows her to stay alive for so long. For her first attempt, this was really good. Then, a few weeks ago, I decided to stream and make this. Now, this is a heavily updated version because even from the stream, this didn't look so good. This is Purifier Retrofit. We're at an angle because we're in a natural creative world for once. I thought it might be nice to have at least, some background. The slight tilt here is actually normal because the ground is not even close to flat like what we're used to in the R&D labs. But anyways, yeah, this is Purifier. Now, some of the details, I'll admit, are a bit lame, like this, but it's very difficult to get this part perfect in TerraTech. Now, you might notice there's some interesting items on here. First of all, these blue things, what are they? Well, they're flares. They help deflect missiles. Any missiles that do manage to get close to the ship that aren't deflected are generally shot down by the CIWS systems. If they're not, well, they hurt quite a bit. Besides that, in the back, instead of the destroyer guns, I now have anti-air guns and 4 more CIWSs, just because. You also might have noticed that the back here is quite a bit different. Here's a relative side-by-side view. Now, I should also obviously mention the paint job. Now, you're probably wondering why this paint job. Well, okay, I'll admit this lighting is not the best. The sun's about to go down. That's also why I prefer R&D labs. But you gotta give me credit for how well I did. The bottom's red, just like a normal waterline. The top is silver and black and silver. Now, I could go through a lot more work to do all the crazy siren ship markings, but that would take me way too long. This detail already took me over 6 hours, and that's just what the save game says. Who knows how many times I've reset it. So, the major detailing. Well, first thing, the missile launchers. You'll notice that I used to have 3 old ones. Now I just have one giant odd-looking brick. Well, to explain that, I had a mod. These are really cool missile launchers. They deal a lot of damage, but they need a lot of protection. That was the issue. Those missile launchers can easily get shot off. These can take quite a few more hits before they're even damaged. One minor detail I want to draw attention to is back here, this. I have no clue what that thing is, but I think it's a radiator of some sort. I think it's supposed to be in the water and dissipate heat. That's my best guess. I thought it'd be a neat detail if I added it anyways. Final details are this gun. As you can see, on normal Purifier, it doesn't have a mount. On this one, it does. There's also, I believe, supposed to be spikes here, but I never made those because I only recently moved the main gun up further. So that could potentially be a future upgrade. But it's just a visual update. I don't think it'd be too important. Up here, what I assume is the radar, has had quite a few changes. You'll notice this odd, boring looking one versus this. Looks quite a bit better. There's a little bit more detail. Originally, the missile launcher was just right here, intersecting with that. Being protected, I guess, but I prefer it at least 1 block separated. Then I have no clue what the orange things are supposed to be, because the black part, I mean, I couldn't make that look good no matter what I tried. That's supposed to obviously be the smokestack. But what's this? What are these things? I have no clue. I just tried to make it look as close as possible. And finally, the radar. Well, it's pretty difficult to do this without a crazy amount of perfect detail work, so this is what I got. Alright, even though it is getting dark out, we still have a little bit of light left. So what can Purifier do? Well, Pretty much everything the old Purifier could, just with more missiles, and actual anti-air guns, and CIWS and flares. So pretty much not much more except some added missile defenses. If you guys watch my stream, you might have also noticed something else. And based on the sound, I've added new engines. Now, I definitely could have gone with the GeoCorp jet engines, but it's actually more efficient if you can pack more of the Venture Zero propellers in instead. Now, you may be wondering, why are we not taking damage? It's this awesome little setting. Invincible player tech's one of the best things ever. So what happens if Purifier does not have invincible player tech? Yeah. Trees are your worst nightmare. That's why you never see me play creative for my TerraTech builds. Sure, it looks better, but like, you got the terrain to deal with, you got trees. That's why I'm not a massive fan of fighting in this mode. Yeah, it's just a disaster. I could up the hover power or even get anti-grav, with some actual power, but yeah, this is why I generally don't play creative. It's just too dangerous. And if so much armor gets shredded off by the terrain alone, fights just become unfair. So, how about we hop over to R&D? For some reason, the second half of my recording pretty much cut out, so I'm doing a voiceover while I'm editing it. This new Retrofit Purifier can go around 71 miles an hour, sometimes more, sometimes less. The old Purifier can go around 62 miles an hour. It really depends on how high up she is and how much anti-gravity there is. But anyways, that's still a huge improvement. The other major improvement in this clip is turning. Just like that. The old Purifier could never turn that well. That's another major reason I wanted to update Purifier, was because turning was very painful. Now, on to more detail and design. One thing you guys might have noticed is how there's like a white outline every so often. That's because a while ago when I actually built this, I painted it all white so I could see it a bit better, and I kind of forgot to repaint the blocks underneath the outer layer. So yeah, you can see that through some cracks. It's gonna take a lot of work to change it, so I kind of just left it as is. It's also a good indicator of if Purifier does get damaged and how badly damaged she does get. You could have probably guessed, but the interior is the exact same as it was before. I mean, I didn't have to change anything in here, so I didn't. And changing anything would be a very long and painful process, so I just left it as is. The interior is insanely well done. There's still some old ion engines left inside, but it'd be way too much work to take those out. Just like the old superstructure, the new one is pretty much all armor, and all detail of course, but there are a few cabs hidden inside, as well as the usual repair and shield bubbles. Not much that's really special, but just wanted to say it. I also decided to add a few more what I call control stations, which is basically just a cab, maybe two, with a bunch of equipment that's pretty much necessary to run the ship, including the radar, a speedometer, an altimeter, and a power gauge, all the important stuff. I also added 2 new special Venture radars that help you map out the world, so we can see way more stuff around us. I have to add these in every new tech from now on because they're so useful, and because it makes the map actually look good. Next up is the classic turret run, but this time I'm trying something different. I'm going in reverse. You may wonder why. Well, it's because we already know what happens when I rush the turret run with my main guns. I wanted to see just how powerful the missiles and anti-air are. And let me say, nothing stands in the way. This is sped up so you don't get to see too much detail, but once those missiles find the target, they will just annihilate it with insane speed. Plus, the insane blast radius of the anti-air's projectiles can pretty much shred up anything, even larger techs. That makes them very formidable opponents. But yeah, not much to say here. It was a massacre. That's the best way to describe it. Nothing got out alive, well, except for me. Once we're done looking at Purifier, I kind of just realized we took absolutely 0 damage. Yeah, that's how insanely powerful this tech truly is. Now, time to show off the new star of the show, the new missiles I installed. The old missiles were crappy and slow and didn't deal much damage. These are powerful, fast, have a fast fire rate, and are practically impossible to dodge no matter what plane you use. Like, I don't even know what speed you would need to dodge these. It's insane. And with these awesome anti-air upgrades, wherever the new Purifier goes, it's a no-fly zone for the enemy, pretty much. Just look at this. I have absolutely no counter to these missiles, even using flares. It's insane. So does the new Purifier have any weaknesses? Well, kinda. If you strike like you're supposed to with the striker, you can get an insane amount of damage in. However, the flares are amazing at deflecting missiles. Cause if you fire your missiles from really far away, you can usually get hits, but if you're any closer, the missiles will fly towards the flares and, away from Purifier. Anyways though, this is an insanely formidable opponent for any plane of any size. I mean, the B-17 is an insanely powerful bomber, but we did take some damage in this fight for sure. Although, I'm kind of surprised we didn't get destroyed. That does just go to show how well designed this plane is. The only annoying thing about having to fight flares is that they can also deflect bombs as well as missiles. So all of my bombs just go off to one side sometimes, and yeah, it's annoying. However, this is a video game. Shoot or explode something enough and it will eventually die. My point is proven here because even a B-17 can destroy Purifier, although we take quite a bit of damage. Although I could have easily destroyed Purifier like I said, I decided not to. Honestly, I just wanted to see the pure amount of damage I could do. Now, the issue with bombs is the fact that they hit the top or surface of a tech, not anything on the sides or in the front or the back. So that's why there's a current massive hole in the middle of Purifier. That's mostly because that's where, half of the batteries are stored, I guess. They're all Hawkeye ion batteries, so they're pretty well protected. There are repair and shield bulbs in there, but it's usually what gets detonated first. But the pretty amazing thing is the fact that Purifier can still move, even with this much damage. She's a bit lopsided for sure, but still, it's pretty incredible that, it's not truly lethal damage. We aren't just stuck. We can still kind of escape, I guess, although you can't really outrun an aircraft as a ship. Besides that though, I don't think there's too much of note here. I mean, everything on the top just got annihilated because the bombs, the missiles, all detonated at once, I assume. The main guns got destroyed, the CIWS is in the back, the anti-air guns, nothing was spared. But it is pretty interesting to see that my cabs are still somehow alive, which is kind of weird considering I thought the bombs would target the cabs, but I actually don't know how bombs work. Here's one of the other command centers I was talking about. They all have the exact same equipment, but they're located in multiple spots among the tech so that, if one gets destroyed, your tech can still keep on going. There's also an AI module, but I removed that clip because the AI is still pretty dumb, even with the mod. Alright, Purifier is actually a pretty normal fight, but it's kind of odd considering I'm fighting Purifier against Purifier. Anyways, the first thing you should know is the other Purifier, the old one, is actually raised up a bit higher, and the damage afterwards is pretty similar. So the first major difference I noticed in battle was the fact that Purifier, the old one, does actually have a few extra guns. The new one trades gun for missiles, pretty much. Our new missiles are insanely powerful, far more powerful than the old missile launchers, which makes a huge difference. As you can see, the missiles just bombard the top of the old Purifier. This is also great because it helps destroy, or wear down the battery of the repair and shield bubbles, which is pretty neat. However, the drawback with that is the fact that only our forward-facing guns and our missiles are our only main armaments. Everything else in the back is worthless. And the CIWSs don't do that much damage. They're mostly just made to block missiles. The at this point I did realize the issue was I was way too low to the ground compared to the old Purifier. So I changed the hovering power to level the playing field, literally, but that didn't really help considering I had already blown off the entire bow of the old Purifier. However, there's a giant hole where my forward battery should be, and you know, the cruiser gun, so that's a little bit concerning. But we all know what happens at this point. Pretty much once the repair and shield levels are dead in tech, they're usually dead. Purifier can live for quite a bit longer after that, but yeah, old Purifier was not going to live for much longer than that. But still, the damage is pretty crazy. Our bow on the old Purifier was shredded off. The cruiser gun is dead, yet somehow the batteries haven't exploded in the front. That's kind of weird. I guess it has to do with the cab being at the top of the superstructure that we've been aiming at the entire time. The retrofit, however, yeah, there's quite a big hole in the middle of our ship. That's where all the batteries and the cruiser gun should be. However, you should very much note that the bow and, more importantly, the main gun is still intact. I was showing that off because, you know, a repair and shield bubble can't reach those blocks for some reason. But yeah, the damage between the two is pretty insane. The crazy thing is that the battery life was extremely similar for the two. I mean, yeah, I didn't add any batteries, I think I actually even removed some, but the survivability and damage output is the crazy difference between the two. What interested me the most, though, is the damage to the back of each ship. In the back of the old Purifier, there's a missile launcher missing. However, with our new system, I don't think there was a single scratch to the back of the new Retrofit Purifier. That's incredible! I mean, it kind of makes sense because the new Purifier has better missiles, but still, it's just good to see. The last TerraTech builds episode, the Hellcat, we kinda lost to the transport ship. Now this is insanely embarrassing. To make up for this mistake, I decided to annihilate the transport ship with my new Purifier. I mean, it's no challenge at all. Although I am surprised, I kinda forgot that those guns do more damage than you think they would. And especially considering this is an amazingly well-designed tech, it's interesting that one destroyer gun and one anti-air gun can deal as much damage as they do, and for no reason at all. But yeah, pretty much the transport ship just flies away because it's extremely derpy, and it doesn't really stand a chance against Purifier. It just does not have anywhere near the firepower. At this point, it's pretty much run out of battery, which means no anti-gravity, which means it can't move. Major design flaw. But at this point, it is just dead. It's not worth it to try and destroy the whole thing. I pretty much just wanted to see what I did to it. I kind of just love watching all the parts fall out of the tech after it's been destroyed. It's so cool to see. But yeah, it didn't stand a chance, like I said. However, what interested me was the pure damage it did to Purifier. It knocked off our cruiser gun, blew up most of the batteries in the front, but what's more interesting is that giant hole down near the bow. I was like, how was that even caused? I'm pretty sure some of the batteries must have exploded, I guess, but I don't even know how that got damaged in the first place. That's incredible. So, in total, new, better looking Purifier, but still as susceptible to trees as the old one. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll have the link for this build down in the description for the Steam Workshop. It does require a few mods, but it's definitely worth it. Purifier is definitely the best ship I've ever made. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. This is going to be Enzo from LookIntoGaming, signing out.